This episode originally aired on October 15th, 2021 on the Unethical Patreon. Our client this week is Kristy Jansen from Unethical Podcast. Go check that out.
He makes his own nitro cold brew.
Oh, of course you do. I love you so much, Rick, but Jesus Christ, God, you are such a wanker. Guys.
Hey, Kristy. How's it going? It's good to see you, pal. What'd you kick in the door for? Where's the receptionist? Where's she out there?
What receptionist? You guys don't have a receptionist here?
Oh, hey guys. Hey guys, I'm sorry. She went right by me.
Oh.
Hi. No, there was no one out there.
Did she maybe go by the closed door to the bathroom?
I
didn't see another door. I saw the one door and I headed straight for the one door because I knew you guys would be behind me.
Well, it's, you know what, Kristy, it's good. Sorry, like we're just trying to get a little layer of communication between myself and Celeste. She's been mean to me, really, and I'm trying to put a little bit of space. Like if she calls, it's fine. It's just she has to talk, before me, because I'll just get mad. That's all.
Right. Okay, so you're trying to.
But you don't need it. You don't need an appointment. It's fine that you blew in. Let's do it. How's it going?
I'm okay. Obviously, you guys know I'm from Australia.
Oh.
And we have this very huge case that happened down here like 40 years ago now, but it's solved, but it's not really solved. It's one of those cases where they've kind of put a Band-Aid over it and gone, okay, this is what we reckon has happened and let's go on our merry way. But
yeah, like OJ.
Yeah, pretty much. Every Australian around my age and the generations before me, I'm not telling you how old I am. You guys can figure it out.
She's 40.
Wow, you're a fuck.
Gave away a woman's age. Anyway, yes, I am. I turned 41 this year. So
see, I was being nice.
And I'm actually the person, the child in this story would have been the same age as me. She was born the same year.
Oh no.
So every Australian has their own take on this story and their own version of what they think has happened, but the courts ruled that it went a certain way. But yeah, we all have our own story of what we think actually happened and who and where and when. So, but I want you guys to find out what the actual truth is, because I'm sure you'll be able to.
Did the baby become you?
Did we solve it before it was even told to us what it was? And I'm taking part credit on that because I thought that.
Well, I can fill you guys in on the story and give you some of the background facts and stuff, and then you can work out for yourself.
Well, I've been making a lot of rash decisions lately, and these guys, I'm getting their opinion. Like, what do you think, Rick? Should we? Kristy, come on, you're not going to say no to that, right?
I'm going to volley it over to RJ.
He's so mad at you for calling him a wanker.
It's because he knows I'm right.
Are we suggesting we go into this one blind?
I've never heard anything about this. So Kristy, come in and give us this deets and then we'll solve it like that. Let's try that. I'm down.
All right.
I can do that. I know a fair bit about it. I've researched some more because I know whenever you talk to Rick about a case, he needs to know every detail. So I've tried my best to make sure that I have everything, but I am 100% sure that as I'm talking, you will find more things that I don't know. So,
an elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Have you guys ever heard the Australian saying, The dingo's got my baby.
That's an Australian saying? Is that like something on a coin? Is that somewhere in Australia? The dingo ate my
No.
baby?
Yep. Everyone in Australia knows it. We know where it comes from. We know the person that said it.
See, for me, that's from Seinfeld. Elaine makes fun of it. The dingo ate my baby. That's where I know it from. Just pop culture reference. I didn't know that's a real thing. So that was
It
them just
absolutely is.
Okay. I'm interested now. Very interested.
Yep. So that originated from the story of the Chamberlain family. They went on a family holiday to Uluru, which was originally called Ayers Rock. So you guys probably seen pictures and heard of Ayers Rock, but it's now called Uluru. They went on a family holiday there on the 16th of August in 1980. Michael and his wife Lindy and their two sons, Aidan, who was 7, and Reagan, 4, and 9-week-old baby Azaria. They were camping at the rock with some family friends. So like I said before I go on too far with the story, I'll tell you a little bit more about Uluru because Rick will want to know all the details.
Okay, Uluru. Okay, sorry,
So-
I got a question about this. Uluru is the like you said, we would all know that place.
Yeah, so Ayers Rock is one of the most famous landmarks in Australia. It's basically dead center in the middle of Australia, and it is
Literally the only thing I think about when I think about Australia, like in tourism or whatever, is like dudes with surfboards and 6-packs on beaches.
the main things that that are always shown in every Australian tourism video is always the Sydney Opera House,
I got that one.
the camels on the beach in Broome in the sunset, and Ayers Rock. Everything that's shown of Australia, and maybe like a really beautiful beach in Queensland, because Queensland doesn't really have much to offer except for beaches and bananas. So
Okay. This. Okay, good. Thank you, Rick. Rick sent it to me. See, look, Research Rick, call him Research Rick R.
Told ya.
He's fucking sending me pictures on the sly like that. This is great.
Yeah.
I tried to share it with everybody, but you disabled sharing, so I couldn't.
Oh, well, no, I can fix that.
Why the name change?
So it was originally named Ayers Rock after the explorer that found it. It is a large sandstone rock formation in the southern part of the Northern Territory, so the bottom of the Northern Territory in Australia. It's 348 metres high, 3.6 kilometres long, and 1.9 kilometres wide. And it would take about 3.5 hours to walk around the entire rock.
That implies that I would do that.
Yeah. I read that and I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I'll just look at it.
In a picture.
Yeah, in a picture
Yeah.
from Perth.
From my bed
It's-
in my phone.
Yeah. It's about 300 kilometers southwest of Alice Springs, which is the third largest town in Northern Territory after Darwin's the capital of Northern Territory. And then there's Catherine and Alice Springs. So Uluru is sacred to I'm going to get this wrong and I'm really sorry, but the Pitjantjatjara, the Aboriginal people of the area.
Pajajajara.
Yeah, Pitjantjatjara.
Pajantabara. I'll offend them more than you, and then you don't have to feel bad. Pajanjagara.
It's got like 4 J's in it
Okay.
and some P's and T's, and there's a lot of letters happening. So
Fun.
Pitjantjatjara. I think that's pretty good. So that's the Aboriginal people that are from that area, and it's the name was changed back to the original Aboriginal word Uluru, which means large rock in Aboriginal.
Oh, that answers it. That's
It's very Australian.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. We look at something and we name what we see.
that's a big fucking rock.
Yeah, nice. That's good. So it's surrounded by springs, water holes, rock caves, and lots of ancient Aboriginal artifacts and paintings, which are all have been heritage listed. So it's a World Heritage Site now. The Uluru Katajutu National Park also features the Olgas, which is another really awesome rock formation. It's kind of like our Stonehenge, but not as cool. There's like different formations in like sizes and stuff. So, and they're called the Aboriginal word for those are Katajutu. So that's why the park is called the Uluru Katajutu National Park now. So it's one of the most recognisable landmarks in Australia and has been a popular destination for tourists since the 30s. And it is also one of the most important Indigenous sites in Australia. Very, very spiritual for them. So
the spirituality of this place or the religion side of it makes it kind of like you're building up something spooky. I don't like that. You're scaring me a little bit here.
Yeah, I think it would be quite a foreboding place actually to be at nighttime and like with no like light, no artificial light and stuff around you. I think it would be pretty intense place to be.
It's cool.
Yeah, I think the dingo eating babies. Baby eating dingoes would more lend to this terrifying.
I ain't scared of no dingo. I ain't scared of no
I'm scared of a baby that can eat a dingo.
Yeah, me too, actually.
That would be scary. Shit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want that coming out of me.
Anyway. Crawls really fast.
So I hope that was enough information on those. I'm sure if it's not, you'll find your own, Rick.
No, I think I got it.
No, yeah, because he's always on like 6 steps ahead.
Yeah.
The questions he asks, you're not going to expect to be like, at 9 weeks old, did the baby have incisor teeth? That's important because if it did, basically what would happen, and then just in a completely different train.
I already have it solved. I'll let. What did you say? I already have it solved. I'll just let you finish. I was like, okay.
I wasn't expecting anything less, so.
But no, that's
So
plenty
good.
of information for me. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
If my opinion
All right.
matters, isn't that?
Of course it does.
No, but I mean, Ricky, he has a higher standard. So what I'm like, man, you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna follow his, mine doesn't really matter.
On the day after, so the 17th of August, the family investigated the area and climbed the rock, which you're no longer allowed to do. They have stopped tourists from climbing up it because obviously being sandstone, it starts to crumble away quite easily and tourists were completely screwing it up. So after a day of exploring, the family and their friends cooked their dinner in the park's barbecue area and several hours chatting with other families holiday. At around 6:30 p.m., Lindy settled Reagan, the 4-year-old, and Azaria, the baby, to sleep in the tent and returned to the rest of the family back at the barbecue area. So it was around 25 meters away from the barbecue area.
Is this legitimately like Australian Madeline McCann right now? Just put instead of it's like at a barbecue pit instead of like a tapas bar, like you're just leaving your kids far away. Some parents are dumb. Like, why would you do that?
I think a lot of parents are dumb.
Yeah.
You could obviously still see it from the barbecue area.
Okay, so it's not as bad as Madeline McCann then. They're like
No,
only
it's
25
not.
meters away, which is actually a lot closer. Okay,
Yeah,
now I'm back
I
on
wanted
board.
because I wanted to find out how far it was, because in my mind I was like, why would you put a 4-year-old and a 9-week-old in a tent and then walk 2 kilometers back to the barbecue area? It was weird in my mind because I wouldn't leave a baby. Anyway, some people would.
I would leave a baby. I want to clarify.
I wouldn't bring a 9-week-old baby on a camping trip.
Oh, mate, yep. And it's not just a 9-week-old baby. There's a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, mate. That is.
Yeah.
Well, I would go a step further. I wouldn't have a 9-week-old baby in Australia.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Australia is a dangerous fucking place.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
Oh, you thought I was about to just shit on kids. No, kids are great.
Yeah, but all our babies are born with a fucking big Bowie knife and a boomerang, man. They're fine.
God damn.
Kangaroo
that would
pouch.
hurt.
And how did it serve? How did it serve in this case? I mean,
They're just cutting their own way out through C-section.
It's time to get out. Okay, so around 8 p.m., one of the other women heard what she believed to be a baby crying. So Lindy walked back over to the tent, and it was when she claimed to have seen a dingo coming out of the tent. She cried out, "My God, a dingo's got my baby."
Can I do the line?
Go for it.
My God, a dingo's got my baby. Is that good?
Beautiful. So there are literally thousands of memes, videos, merchandise that have been made using this statement, and every Aussie knows it and the story behind it. It's absolutely
Merchandise.
Can we get Rick to do the line? Come on, do the line.
What was the line? I missed it.
My God.
My God, a dingo's got my baby.
See, you're pretty good too.
Is that good?
You had a pretty good one too. I like the line. So do we have to say it a couple more times? Does it come up a couple more times? Like in court, do they say it? Can I do it in court?
No, it does. It does. I'm sure they do it. I'm sure they say it in court.
Okay.
Yes, but
Sorry.
whenever you feel like it's necessary, feel free to say it.
Okay. Okay.
I'll leave that up to you throughout the story. If you feel like that line is necessary, go for it.
You're gonna get a video from me that's like me going to the department store and just the bingo, my baby, just all over town.
Can't wait. Yes. In front of the train.
Yeah.
Do it in front of the train.
So a dingo was in, she saw a dingo leave the fucking tent. Yikes.
Yes, so she claims that she saw the dingo coming out of the tent, and that is when she said,
"Oi, fuck, a dingo's got my fucking baby."
He made it more
That's my
Australian.
Australian.
He made it more Australian.
That was
by
great.
throwing you should have said cunt at the end. That would have been
That cunt dingo.
beautiful.
There you go.
That's how she should have said it. So now Lindy, and she initially ran in the direction of the dingo, then returned to check the tent, finding that Azaria was missing, but Reagan, the 4-year-old, he was still asleep. There was blood on the floor of the tent, as well as in the baby bassinet, on the mattresses, and on the entrance door, entrance flap of the tent. Her husband, Michael, and their family friend began immediately searching the surrounding sand dunes.
I'm just thinking if the baby did get eaten by a dingo, like that's a fucking bad way to die. Just getting mauled by an animal. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's linger in that moment for no reason.
Oh.
I know. Let's just think about that a little bit more, shall
God.
we? No.
Just the crunching. A guy that I know that lives up the street from me. Well, he did when I was younger, but he was a guy from the city that moved to like the country where I live, and he moved to the bush, like far into the bush, deep enough, right? And he just never understood that there's differences between living in the city and living in, and one of them being you don't just throw your garbage outside, bears will come to your house. So he'd throw garbage outside his house, and a bear at night fucking broke right into his fucking house, he cornered him, he started running, the bear fucking attacked him, got right on top of him. He said the bear was biting his head, and he could feel the scraping of the bear scraping his head. And if some other lady was driving and she was going fishing down the road and she saw the bear and she like scared him up, but he was like, I was alive the whole, like I saw it, I felt it, I remember it. Yeah, he lost his hand. He fucking the bear fucked him up.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's predators. That's usually their go-to for humans is they go for your face. Like so a bear will bite your head. Dogs do it too.
Yeah.
If it did take her, it would have just. She was only 9 weeks old.
Yeah, I know for sure.
dingo
Yeah,
would put her in-
it's
Yeah.
very tender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prime.
You're welcome for sharing that story with you. Now you can all remember it the way I do.
Yeah. I can hear it, and I can feel
know.
it. I can like my head's itchy now. I'm like, I can feel it.
Yeah.
Okay. So around 20 minutes later, Derek Roth, the ranger in charge at the time, and police officer Constable Morris arrived at the scene. A search party was quickly assembled, and they searched the area all around the camp until around 3 a.m. Tracks were found in the sand dunes east of the camp, as well as imprints in the sand that looked like something had been dragged. Constable Morris found similar drag marks behind the rear of the tent. And one of these tracks was followed up into the dunes to the east. An Aboriginal tracker, Nui Minatiri, stated that it looked like a dingo track that had been carrying a load. So a dingo not carrying anything and a dingo carrying something looks different to Aboriginal trackers, which is incredible to me because I wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't that also just be a light dingo versus a heavy dingo? If it's carrying a child that's less than 10 pounds, what if it's just a differential of a dingo that's 20 versus 10 pounds?
You're smarter than that. You ain't never seen a dog walk the way it walks when it's carrying something in its mouth versus how it walks when it's not. They walk different.
Do they?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe my dog's just fucking weird.
I'm not smart. I hate that you are assuming that I'm smart. I'm not smarter than that.
I hate that you're assuming that I'm smart. Don't worry, I'll prove it to you myself.
How dare you deny me the satisfaction?
Yeah, don't assume. Let me show you. Watch.
You ever heard of nitro cold brew?
That's it. I'm getting the tank.
Oh, he's gone. Love you. Bye.
I couldn't help myself. All right.
So that was on the 17th of August, and there was absolutely nothing found in between then and the 24th of August, when tourist Wally Goodwin found a baby jumpsuit, booties, a nappy, and a singlet. He just found them in the dirt around the campsite. So it wasn't directly in the campsite, it was a fair way away. He'd been walking. So, and as soon as they found these things, rumors began to fly, mostly led by the media. And we'll get into a few of those a little bit later, but we'll start with what happened after that. The first inquest began in February of 1981. Coroner Dennis Barrett found that Azaria had died by a dingo attack and cleared the Chamberlains of any wrongdoing. He felt that some of the police may have been against the idea of a dingo being involved and that their evidence against the Chamberlains didn't stand up. There are a lot of allegations of evidence tampering, including the handling of the clothing. They said that when Wally notified the police that he'd found the articles, he didn't touch them, didn't move them, didn't do anything because obviously he didn't want to disturb the area. But the police officer that came to the area, as soon he picked up the clothing, moved it all around, looked at it and stuff, and then put it back in place and then photographed it instead of photographing it before he touched it.
Fucking incredible how stupid they are.
Australians are police officers.
It's like every cop in every true crime story.
I thought you meant Australians, and then I went, oh yeah, he means the police. But I laughed originally because I thought he meant Australians.
God damn, really?
No.
I was not coming for you like that, Kristy.
I know.
Never would I think that.
I gotta solidify my favorite spot with someone. I don't know.
No, but you can't. It's kind of unfair though, RJ. Really, because like we only hear about the ones where the cops do stupid shit, but like most of the time they do normal stuff and they do really good. Like 90% of the time, it's just the shitty ones now. Like it highlights so much shit.
I don't know if I want to say 90% of the time. That feels like a lot.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you fact check it for me? Thank you. It's going to be higher percentage that they do good than fuck up is what I'm trying to say.
It's still early. It's early 80s still. So like it's 81. So I'm not really sure about like DNA and all that sort of stuff, but I think it would probably have still been in the really early infancy of like DNA testing and stuff, wouldn't it, in the early 80s?
The first case they ever used it in was OJ, so like
yeah, exactly. So the policeman would have just been like, oh, what's this? And you know, but yeah, they didn't, the cops didn't take very lightly to being accused of that sort of stuff. So they decided amongst themselves they were going to set it to rights. And they adopted a cartoon dingo as their logo and called themselves Operation Ochre after the red dirts. up in the north, as you can see in the picture.
Okay.
The north of Australia is all the Pindan. It's a very rich red soil. So
It's not sand, it's soil.
Yeah, it's like
It's
like a
soil?
soil. It's really thick and heavy. It's beautiful. And if you get it on yourself, it dyes you, like the color.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's like
really
bloody
beautiful.
sand.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Huh.
So witnesses that had been at the scene were questioned again and again, and specifically told by police not to mention the dingo. They didn't want to hear anything about the dingo. Don't talk about it. We want to know everything else, just nothing about that.
Why the fuck did they make a cartoon dingo their mascot then?
Yeah, that's pretty fucking hardcore.
Seems like a weirdly tone deaf thing. Be like, we're not talking about the dingo. Look up here at Dingy, our adorable mascot. Don't ask about him though.
Meanwhile, the dingo's like
don't
paying
know.
off the mayor. Like, make
Yeah.
sure you're It's like, why are you coming for the dingo? Why do you give a shit? Like, mention the dingo, Jesus.
I didn't even think about that when I wrote that. I was just like, oh, fuck. God, that makes him look so stupid.
So crazy.
Yeah. So in November of 1981, the Northern Territory Supreme Court in Darwin overturned the verdict of the first inquest and ordered a second one. With all the new evidence, Coroner Jerry Galvin didn't actually make any new findings, but he bound the Chamberlains for trial for murder. Lindy for murder and Michael as an accessory after the fact. And they were both released on $5,000 bail. The trial began in Darwin on September 13th, 1982. And on October 29th, 8 months pregnant Lindy were charged with first-degree murder and sentenced to life with no parole. And Michael was found guilty and received a 3-year suspended sentence. Their daughter Kalia was born in prison a month later.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Nice. That's always a good story for the grandkids. I was born in jail.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had never known that they were charged with anything even. Wow.
So over the next 4 years, they continued to fight to prove they were innocent. Appeals, petitions, and even a committee was formed, the Innocence Committee, and they submitted applications for a review of all the evidence. Then, luckily for them, unbeknownst to him, a young English hiker by the name of David Brett would be the reason Lindy was released from prison. Unfortunately for David,
They found baby in his teeth.
Is this? Oh, sorry. I forgot to ask. Sorry. We went too far. So at the trial, is this when she was yelling, "Dear God, the dingo ate my baby"?
Yep,
Okay.
she
in
absolutely
the
was.
trial.
She absolutely was. If you can see this, you can see the trials reenacted by the incomparable Meryl Streep in the movie Evil Angels. She plays Lindy Chamberlain, and Meryl Streep says the line.
Does Meryl Streep play an Australian?
She does, and she says the line.
Is she Australian though?
No.
Does your country find this racist? Do you guys we have our own actors to play Australian people?
No,
You
you know
know?
what? I think I can't really speak for every Aussie, but
You should. You should be offended by this. You should be getting there's Nicole Kidman's.
Australian people play American people. Australian played Wolverine.
and Gladiator.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can take Lindy.
And as far as I'm aware, no Australian actors have actually had sex with any children, unlike a lot of American actors.
That's a strong stance
So-
to take when I'm sure that you don't know that for sure.
I don't know that for sure, but I would like to believe it for now because there's so little light in this world.
He's typing Australian child actor fucker. Enter.
Jeremy Cooley, born 16 August 1960, is an Australian actor, writer, producer, and convicted child sex offender.
Yeah, but is he like Australian actor, writer, producer, comedian, magician because he says he's those things? That's a lot
He's
of
actually-
Wikipedia entries.
I feel like you're focusing. It didn't say he was a magician. He's an actor, writer, producer, and child sex offender. That's it. That's the full list. Usually, if you're an actor and a writer or producer, that kind of makes sense.
There's only one I know of for sure. He was on a Australian sitcom in the 80s.
Oh, all right. Well, that's local to you guys. We got all the good ones now.
USA, USA, we have the best child molesters. USA.
Oh,
Yeah, is the other one that you know Rolf Harris? He is an Australian entertainer whose career has encompassed work as musician, singer, songwriter, composer, comedian, actor, painter, and television personality.
Painter.
and a slew of child sex.
He's the wobble board guy.
He was convicted because one of his daughter's friends was intimate with him.
Yes. Yes. And you guys would know him if you saw him. He's the wobble board guy. Tommy Kangaroo down sport. That guy.
You are vastly overestimating.
What do you think makes it to our continent? I mean, what the fuck?
No, Kristy.
I'm hiding.
Big Ricky, 38-year-old Ricky's got your back on that one.
Oh, you know him?
I do know that. Yes.
He also released a wobble board cover of Stairway to Heaven.
What? I'm sorry. So you're saying wobble board, and through context clues, I'm picking up that is an instrument.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so embarrassed by my country right now.
Virtual high five,
like,
RJ, because that means we're doing our job.
yes!
If she's embarrassed, we're doing our job.
No. Take the W for the wobble board being your country's embarrassment. America has a couple other
Yeah.
skeletons that aren't exactly shoved in the closet
But
right now.
listen to it. It's Rolf Harris, Stairway to Heaven. It was on the chart. It's charted in Australia.
It charted. God damn. All right.
Anyway. I'm going on with the story because I'm just digging myself a big hole.
It's my derailment.
That's
I
okay.
apologize.
It's fine. So yeah, unbeknownst to him, a young English hiker by the name of David Brett was the reason Lindy was released from prison. Unfortunately for David, he slipped and fell from the top of Uluru and died. While police were searching the area for his body, they discovered a little once white baby jacket. And this jacket was had been worn by Azaria on the night that she disappeared. The chief minister ordered Lindy's immediate release, and she departed prison in a beautiful pink dress and big shades, picked up by a stretch limo on February the 7th, 1986.
Well, now I think she did it.
Most people think that the limo and the dress and the sunnies were provided by one of our big TV stations, because later on down the track, she did a massive expose with that TV channel. So they reckon that they were feeding her money. It's not proven, but anyway, I wouldn't put it past them.
Oh, scummy media, of course.
Yeah, that's universal.
Yeah.
So a judicial inquest began after Lindy was released. In May 1987, Justice Trevor Morning released a 379-page scathing document, absolutely ripping the shit out of the police, stating that he didn't understand why the police actively avoided taking the very credible accounts of the witnesses that were with the Chamberlains on the night of the disappearance. And, quote, "It is extraordinary that the persons at the barbecue area at the time of and immediately after Azaria's disappearance accepted Mrs. Chamberlain's story and noted nothing about her appearance and conduct, suggesting that she had suddenly killed her daughter." And then he concluded, "I am far from being persuaded that Mrs. Chamberlain's account of having seen a dingo near the tent was false. And if the evidence before the commission had been given at the trial judge would have been obliged to direct the jury to acquit the Chamberlains." So
they let her out of jail.
Yes.
They let the mom out of jail. But if you're born in jail, though, you got to stay in jail. That's kind of sad that she had to stay away from her daughter. that she just had. Born in jail, stay in jail. That's the rules. I didn't make them up.
Is that a Canadian thing? It's not.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, the baby was with Michael, obviously.
Oh,
So in September
That
of
makes the most sense.
1988, the Northern Territory Court of Criminal Appeals unanimously quashed all the convictions against Lindy and Michael. And then over the next couple of years, 1990, Lindy and Michael got divorced and they shared custody of the kids. In 1992, Lindy started touring around Australia and also America doing speaking engagements. And this is where she met her future husband, Rick Creighton. And at the end of 1992, the family received some compensation from the Northern Territory government. No one knows how much it was. But Rick might be able to find out. During the next few years.
get on it.
Yeah, get on it, man.
I feel like we're in the back of a van in some action movie, and we're the bad guys, and Rick's the tech guy. You're just like, hack into the database.
Why do we have to be the bad guys?
Okay, we could be the good guys. Sorry.
He's a bad guy enough in everyday life. Don't do it in fantasy.
Sorry. I was just trying to be like, we're spies trying to kill people with you.
Let's be like National Treasure, right? Where there's really no good guy, there's really no bad guy,
Yeah.
but we're all doing fucked up shit.
Yeah, I
you
like
know?
that. I like that.
Yeah.
Wait, what fucked up shit do they? I guess they do break the law.
They hack into traffic signals while they're fucking driving. I mean, that's a little sus.
Still very PG for fucked up shit. Unless there's like,
All right, well, Nick Cage likes to keep it PG. I don't know. All right.
absolutely, he does not.
I love Nicolas Cage. Like, he's such
I
a
love
fucking-
him as well.
he's a
Have you guys ever
fucking
seen
shit.
Mandy? That's just him
No.
and his natural self.
Fuck, he's such a shit actor, but I love him so
Hated that
much.
movie.
Oh, you
Whoa,
get the fuck
what
out
the
of here.
Fuck?
I dare you. I dare
No,
you to
I
sit
s-
down
I
and
said
watch
it.
2021's Pig starring Nicolas Cage and tell
I
me
said
he's
it
a bad
because
actor.
I knew you guys would. I knew
It's
you guys would have
incredible.
a heart attack if I said that. He's great. I love him. He's amazing.
That's he is the national treasure.
He
I want
is.
the next national treasure movie to be Nicolas Cage running around trying to stop his doppelganger Nicolas Cage putting
Yeah.
a bad mark on his name.
Yes. That's
No, I want it to be 2 layers deep of Nicolas Cage. I want it to be Nicolas Cage running around trying to stop next Nicolas Cage who can see the future from doing something.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage, if you're listening to this, don't do anything. Just stop because I don't know why the fuck you're listening to this.
Because he has
Get back
a
to
crazy obsession with the dingo ate my baby.
He really wanted Richard's beard, so he subscribed for $100.
Yeah, it wasn't Cole. It was Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He needs it for a role. He's his method acting as a guy who's addicted to eating
Yeah.
beards.
Face Off 2.
He's off to.
Fuck, that's a good movie. I'm going to watch that later. God, I love that film.
I like how the faces come with the height.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
I
right.
know.
Yeah,
And the weight.
I was saying, yeah, and John Travolta's weight. Yeah.
Perfect. Just amazing. I'm almost done, guys.
Okay.
So 20 years later, on February 20th, 2012, a fourth coroner's inquest was opened by Territory Coroner Elizabeth Morris. She considered all the new evidence that had been found around dingo attacks on children in that area. She concluded on June 12th, 2012, that a dingo had indeed killed Azaria, giving the Chamberlains what they had always wanted. There's photos of them proudly holding up Azaria's official death certificate outside of the court. In 2007, unfortunately, Michael died after a battle with leukemia, and Lindy is still alive, living in Sydney with her husband, Rick.
Is her husband Rick a dingo?
Okay, why the fuck would you take a picture of yourself outside of the fucking with the death certificate? You have the death certificate. What do you need a picture to prove that you had it? Like, you guys are fucked.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it was changed if the cause of death changed or something. I would imagine.
No, I guess so.
I hadn't up until 2012, they did not have an official death certificate at all.
Oh,
So that was the first
I see. So right now the theory, they ended it with Dingo actually did eat your baby.
Yeah, that's what the court said. But
Hmm.
most Australians believe lots of other different theories. So I've written down a few of them. I'll just spew them out for you guys, and then you guys can go from there. So one of their sons accidentally murdered her, and they covered it up, a la John Benet Ramsey. Lindy was suffering from postnatal depression and couldn't cope with after the birth of the new child. And Lindy killed Azaria because the baby was constantly sick from birth, so she felt like she was essentially putting the baby out of her misery. Michael found out that he was not the real father and couldn't stand the baby so much and made it look like an accident. Michael and Lindy were actually Seventh-day Adventists, and they were deep in the Seventh-day Adventist church. Azaria had been possessed by the SDA version of the devil, so they went to Uluru to exorcise the demon, and it went wrong.
I like this one.
I like this one. They went to Uluru to sacrifice her to God because it's a well-known spiritual place in Australia. And the police apparently found a Bible in their house during the raid with the section in the Old Testament about Abraham sacrificing his son underlined and highlighted.
Yeah, but you normally sacrifice the firstborn child. So why would they sacrifice the most recent born?
She was the only girl. They had 2 sons. She was the only daughter.
They also liked the other ones more.
There's preferences.
And the last one is that she was actually killed by the dingo that was the pet of the ranger of the park, and he covered it up to save his dog from being killed.
So there was a dingo like paying off the mayor, but it's his buddy. Like,
Yeah.
Don't send me to the pound. I promise I won't kill any more kids.
So my favorite is the sacrifice. They've taken her to the sacred rock in Australia, and
Okay, wait, can I get this clear? So mom accidentally killed baby. That's one.
Yep.
The other child accidentally killed other baby. So dad killed baby. That's the third one.
Yep.
And then
the last two are the other two are the religious ones. So they
Satan God
were trying to exorcise the demon, and it went wrong, or they sacrificed her to God, and then the dingo, the pet dingo.
Well, I'll start I got a couple things to say. So
Yeah.
Let's start with the first one. The siblings, I don't think so. I don't think the siblings killed them. It's not I doubt it. I don't think kids have it in them. It would be a super accident. It would be weird. It would be different. I don't think it doesn't feel like that. Maybe it is. No. What do you guys think? It's not the kids for sure.
Nah.
No, definitely not the kids.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And then the mom or dad.
I think if anything, it's probably more likely to be an accidental killing by the parents or some sort of weird fucking ritual. I don't know. The problem is if you're going to claim religion to an extreme, you have to find some sort of proof to back that up. Unfortunately, a Bible where something might be marked doesn't really back that up, because there could be a fuck ton of markings in a Bible, right? For whatever reason.
Yep.
So to me, that's not any sort of evidence. That's just thrown out.
Yeah, unless you find like the same scripture scribbled into the bathroom mirror and fucking lipstick, then who fucking cares? It's the same, you know what I mean? Like it's not, that's very circumstantial, unless it's like very common, like it's at the crime scene and it's all over the place, then okay, maybe your Bible shit makes sense. But okay, so that's where you're at. What do you think, RJ? What do you got? You got something fucking crazy. I can already see it in your crazy little face.
Why would you say that?
Can't wait.
Because Predator came out of your mouth last episode.
And how is that anything less than a very tangible and believable theory?
It was absolutely Predator.
You're right. There's a reason.
They've made 5 documentaries about predators. Okay,
that's true.
I've seen every single one of them. A couple of them I'm dubious about because they had aliens in them, and I don't believe in those. But
isn't Predator an alien though? I thought Predator was an alien.
Yeah, the title is really fucking stupid. It really should just be Aliens versus Aliens.
Or just
Yeah.
aliens.
That too. Yep. Also a very good movie by itself. Is her husband Rick a dingo or not? I mean, that was my original question. Because if he is, case closed.
I'm
This was the
unsure.
long con.
I'm unsure, and I haven't seen any pictures of him. So if we have a look, we might.
Well,
be able
without
to...
seeing any pictures, then we have to assume he's a dingo. So at some point, he probably put on a blazer and a mustache.
He could be a lichen.
Lichen?
Yeah.
Like, I love werewolves, so hopefully that would be cool.
Yeah.
A were-dingo?
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, it could be a were-dingo.
Maybe there's like this like super scary like Aboriginal spirit that's actually like a were-dingo. And
That sounds racist, Kristy.
it's not. I'm not being racist. They've got
No,
they have amazing creatures in Aboriginal law. LOR.
Yeah, no, American Indians have a lot of our indigenous people they have like Wendigo and skinwalkers and shit. So
It's interesting. We're also divided on this. We're also divided because what do you like? I'm saying honestly, I think it's a fucking dingo. I think a dingo did it. I think it makes the most sense. I think I think
a dingo makes the least sense. Looking at images of the jumpsuit, it makes no sense. So like, let's say that that the predator would go after the head first and take it off, right? So that makes sense that there's blood around the jumpsuit, but to get to the rest of the body, which was missing, a dingo can't strategically undo the arms of the jumper, right? So to pull it out, it would require ripping of the arms to actually take it out, and that didn't happen, which means that it has to be
completely whole.
Yeah, it has to be some sort of human.
The baby was wearing a onesie, and people that have kids know how fucking hard onesies are. There's no way a dingo without opposable thumbs would be able to undo that thing.
So he was a dingo when he grabbed it, switched to his human version to undo the onesie,
There we go.
back to dingo to finish it.
There we go.
It's like, you got to take the wrapper off, and then it's like, okay, now we're getting back in dog mode.
100% were
And
dingo.
Chowtown.
What if it's this? And correct me because I haven't seen the jumpsuit, so maybe I should look at the jumpsuit before I say this. Maybe the dingo grabbed the baby, ran to his master Dan or whatever the fuck his name is. He went, "You just killed a fucking baby." Took the goddamn baby out of the thing, said, "Well, you might as well eat the rest of that now, dingo boy," or got rid of the fucking whatever, however that happened, and took the thing off and put it up there later on when everyone thought
I
it was
can
somebody
hear the
else
were
planted
dingo.
it.
Can you hear
That's
the
my
were
cat,
dingo?
I can as well, yeah.
Smoker man, shut up. But I mean, is that a possibility, or am I just talking shit right now? Is that a possibility that the dingo, like the pet dingo, brought it to his master, and master went, "Oh shit, you fucking little bastard."
Okay, speaking as someone who owns a dog with supposed dingo lineage, she's part Australian Shepherd,
Okay.
or cattle dog, Australian cattle dog. If my dog brought me a baby, I would probably not unwrap it for it. I would, especially if I was going to try to cover up what happened. I'm not going to take the time to undress a baby. No, that's not. I mean, maybe this park ranger's different. Maybe he just wasn't sure it was a baby. had to get all the clothes off to figure that one out. But I don't find that seems like a leap.
Is there anything else about this guy? Like, is there like a string of lost children around that area at that time? And he's always coming out like at the end of an investigation, like, don't know where they went. You know what I mean? Like,
You mean the park ranger or the were-dingo?
that they're one and the same. Haven't you figured this out yet?
Okay, gotcha. So he
That's
was
what
the
it
dingo.
is.
But
right.
I mean,
that all adds up.
So that's
then.
not there. So it must be one of the parents then. And then that's like, I have a hard time believing fucking parents could do that to their kids. I get it. I do. I understand that it happens and I understand all that stuff. It's just like to put myself there and figure out, like, I couldn't be that mad. I couldn't be that, like, I don't know.
Either.
It hurts my feelings to go there. So I don't know which one. I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, it's easier thinking that a were-dingo did it than a parent.
No, I know for sure. It's more likely the dad. Men are more rageful. But actually, women kill their babies more though.
The problem is the body was never found, right? I mean, I know that one of the theories is that the wife used the scissors and slit her throat, right? And women are more likely to use knives and objects like that. So I think that makes the most sense. But there's nothing that specific. Did you say sexist?
Sexist.
There's nothing that specifically points to it. So I think I'm currently between two camps. It's like either they were like some radical religious and they did something weird, or it was accidental death and they tried to cover it up this way, right? Like I accidentally dropped my baby and now I'm a manic mother and I'm going to just say it was eaten by a dingo, and meanwhile I'm just going to throw her body in the middle of nowhere, and then it does eventually get eaten by a dingo, but that was not the cause of death, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to err with you on that, because it is fucking weird to bring a 9-week-old baby camping, man.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
That's so fucking weird. Nobody does that.
It could be a religious thing too then, but I like that's so far-fetched to me. Like I feel like that's a movie thing. Come on, babies getting sacrificed, we'd find that out. There's no way you couldn't find that out. Maybe they just have women to breed babies to have sacrifices with. Like, how does that work? There'd be babies missing all the fucking time. I don't.
Well, yeah, but a baby has to be registered to be missing. So for all we know, there are a lot of babies that are missing all the time.
That's true.
That QAnon would say that.
Listen, I can't both be the man and QAnon. You got to pick a side, man.
QAnon is the man. It's all
the same, bro. This is all a
conspiracy,
simulation.
man.
In one reality, QAnon is the man, and in this reality, the man is QAnon.
Oh.
Since we're so divided though on this whole thing, and is there any like bending towards to help Kristy out on this, boys? Like, I know you're going where Dingo, and I know you're going religious or mom, you said? Gets?
Yeah, that's what Rick said.
I was about to ask Abigail. Abigail has to be the weighing in vote on this thing. She sat there and listened to this whole thing instead of picking up the ringing phone and kicking out the meowing cat.
Yeah, fucking Celeste has been calling for hours and she's
one more thought before we move on though. What if it's a blend of all of it? Okay. Why not a religious sacrifice to a were-dingo committed by the parents?
There's that. There's always that. Have we thrown
go.
aliens in this yet? Abigail, you gotta be the one to crush this tiebreaker.
The whole onesie thing's got me thrown. Yeah, I agree that bringing a 9-week-old camping is a bit odd.
Mm-hmm.
It's like was it Josh Powell that took his kids out camping at midnight
in the snow? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, so it's a very
come on.
And postpartum is real. Maybe she felt overwhelmed.
Yeah, I guess she's only 9 months in. I didn't even think of that.
And Abigail, what else is real?
Oh, where dingoes. Yes, where dingoes are real. That is a legitimate possibility as well.
Thank you.
See, I told you guys Abigail would work out.
Now you can say the line again, Richard, but you just change it a little bit. So instead of just a dingo.
Dear God, the were dingo stole my baby.
Solved.
You gonna go back to the Australians for us with that?
Yeah, they'll love it.
Put a stamp on it.
They'll love that theory.
You're representing all of the Australians.
Believe in it. Are you gonna pick up that fucking phone, Abigail?
Hey man, you're not fucking paying me.
Yeah, you owe us money. We solved that crime for you. God, everyone's so ungrateful for our wicked crime solving skills.
I get it when I get it.
Okay, well.
You told yourself.
You only have 9 more weeks of indentured servitude. Then you can go off to your life again. It's not that much. For one more crime. That's not that bad.
I just watched Private Dicks and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.
Hey there, all you private dickheads. That's probably not the name we're gonna stick with. Anyways, RJ here. I am here to tell you thank you for listening to another episode of Private Dicks. If you liked what you heard, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere they take your reviews, drop us 5 stars, say something nice. Also, what you just heard was from last season. If you want current episodes as they're dropped, head on over to patreon.com and search up Unethical Podcast. That's our mother podcast. I was not aware Private Dicks was a spinoff. I'm going to renegotiate my contract. On Patreon is a full 16-episode season, more of Private Dicks, uncut videos of each episode, and many more things are getting added all the time. You can also find all of Unethical's content on there, so go listen to that. And if you're already a patron, fuck yeah, dude. You're the best.
The promo we're playing today is from a podcast called Feel Bad Town by Cliff Myers. Good stand-up comedian, good friend of mine. You should check out the show. He's just doing interviews with interesting people, and it's a blast. So go check that out. You're gonna love it. Here's a little clip from the show.
The majority of the pandemic I spent in Las Vegas helping a friend of mine, a comedian friend of mine, Carl LeBeau, who's one of the greatest comedians that ever lived. One of the most powerful comedians. Any comic who ever saw him was like, that's one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life. And he was fighting cancer. So I was spending time with him in Vegas on the last year that he was alive. And I say that it's perfect timing because today is the 1-year anniversary of when he passed. And
oh, wow.
And Carl had this incredible story, which he went to an open mic in Houston, signed up for an open mic. On the same night that he signs up for his first open mic is the same night that Sam Kinison signs up for his first open mic, is the same night that Bill Hicks signs up for his first open mic. And the three of them sign up for open mic for the first time at the same place. Carl and Sam are the only two guys wearing suits. So they kind of gravitate towards each other like, oh man, you're wearing a suit. And Sam's like, oh, I grew up, in the church and.
Wait, Kinison started off wearing suits?
Yeah, started off wearing suits.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
And Carl also grew up in the ministry, so he's like, oh man, me too. That's why I wear. So they developed this friendship, and over time, they decide to go to Hollywood together, and they make a pact on the way over to Los Angeles. If one of us makes it, we're taking the other one with us. And Sam stuck to his word. Sam had got famous and brought Carl along for that entire ride. Theaters and arenas. He brought Carl as his main support act for all those shows. And they partied, and it was crazy. Carl fell in love with a woman who was a little crazy. And they got married. They had a kid. And then Sam tragically dies in this car accident. Carl is directly behind Sam's car. So he gets out to try to help Sam, and Sam lays down in Carl's arms and has a conversation that Carl is like, I'm right here, buddy. But Sam's talking to somebody else and saying, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Oh, okay. Okay. And then he closed his eyes and he said he just felt his soul pass through him. And so he goes through this crazy experience. And then he starts going through an ugly divorce with his wife. And his wife is just coming after him for huge child support payments. And he finally calls the ex up and says, I am begging you to help me because these child support payments are set at an income that I'm no longer at. These child support payments are based on a time when I was performing in arenas, and I can't even get into a comedy club right now. I'm begging you to help me. And his ex started crying, and she said, I'm sorry. And he said, what are you sorry for? And she said, she's not yours. She's Sam's. And he finds out a year or two or a couple years after his friend has passed away that his best friend not only was having an affair with his wife, but his best friend had fathered the child that he was raising as his own.